Hey everybody, Chris here from It's Meat Made, and today I am going to be painting this thing. Yeah, pun was totally intended. So in my last video, I showed you that this was actually a failed print. It had under extrusion issues, and I actually went through a process to where I saved it. And if you're interested in that video and how I saved with this FDM print, I'll put a link to that right up here for you. Alright, so I've got some great techniques planned for this thing, and man, that pun just comes so naturally. So it's important to know where I'm at right now with this model. I've went ahead and primed him black, all black. Then I went ahead and did a zenithal highlight from the top with my airbrush. So I just kind of held it from the top and used some white ink and sprayed it. And that's what gave it this effect. Now I'm ready to move to the spray booth. So let's go ahead and get into this and jump over to the spray booth. So the first thing I'm going to be using is this charred brown from Vallejo Game Air. And I'm just going to put that directly into my airbrush because it already is pre-thinned. Now the first thing that I'm actually going to be doing is spraying it from underneath because I want to cover up most of that black. I'm doing the opposite of a zenithal highlight, and I'm kind of just focusing on all of the shading. So all of those dark areas where that ink didn't hit it, because I want to get a dark undertone that is more of a brownish. Then once I'm done with that, I'm focusing on all of the cracks in his skin, or his like rocky skin, I guess. And I'm going really slowly and just making sure that I get every little nook and cranny. I'm really just trying to get that dark brown into the recesses of all of those cracks. So I'm going really nice and slow. And then I also pass over it again a little farther away so I can get a little bit of a gradation of that brown. Once I have all of that brown laid down on the model, it's time to switch over to an orange, because the thing is a very orangey looking rock. So I'm going to be using this Vallejo Game Air, and this is Orange Fire. So it's also pre-thinned, so I can just pour it directly into my airbrush. Now my first pass, I'm just overall just trying to get a nice coverage from the top and covering up all of that white that I got from my zenithal highlight. The key here is I'm not trying to get into the cracks. I want that brown to stay there, and I just want this orange to kind of transition into that brown. So I'm just staying in the center and then working my way out of every single rock face. Alright, so now we have all of this airbrushed, and I also went ahead and airbrushed the base. I was going more of a gradation on this one, but for this I was going from the light down, and then you can also see all of the cracks and things like that. Now, the next step is I am going to do a daubing technique with these sponges and really try to get some more texture even showing through. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use this yellow orchid. So I've got my yellow board here. I'm going to get some of this paint. I'm also going to put on some gloves because this could get a little messy. So all I'm going to do is get this paint on here. And now I'm going to get it off of it. So I just want a little bit on it. There we go. So now I'm just going to go through and just start tapping this to really get some of this texture to shine through. There we go. So you can kind of see that texture of how it's actually starting to look good in that shading. All right, real quick. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you to all of these amazing people for supporting me on Patreon this month. If you want to join my Patreon, you'll get exclusive access to my private Discord servers where we talk about painting, printing, and everything in between. You'll also get access to all of my behind-the-scenes content, where I show you what I'm working on, what the upcoming videos are, and you can have the opportunity to vote on the videos that I make. If you're interested, the link's below. Other than that, let's get back to the video. So now that I have all of that done, the next thing I'm going to be doing is taking this demonic yellow from the Army Painter and put it on my dry brush texture board. And this is where I'm really going to make some of those edges and highlights just show up really well, because I want to keep going brighter and brighter with all of this dry brushing to get the edges just to pop and to really accentuate like his eyebrows in different areas of his body. Now that I have that, I need to focus on the mouth. So the first thing is I'm going to apply just a plain black paint into the mouth and get everything nice and dark, because there was plenty of overspray that happened inside that mouth. But while I'm doing that, I'm trying to avoid the tongue, because I'm going to be painting that as a red, and painting red on black, it'll just take a lot of coats, and having this lighter color is really going to help me to have minimal amount of paint on it. So now I'm just going to take a watered down white and paint over the teeth. And now I'm going to move on to the tongue, and for that I'm going to be using the Game Color Gory Red. Alright, so now I'm going to make these teeth a little more muted. And I'm going to be using this Earth Shade wash from Citadel. Alright, so now I'm just going to go back over and get all of this overspray and paint it black. Alright, so I'm going to be using this Rub and Buff Metallic, and I'm going to be kind of buffing the edges of this to kind of give it a little bit of a highlight. And using the Rub and Buff and a brush, and I'm going to be kind of feathering it to give it kind of a brushed metal edge look. That way it's not just this black base. So first I'm just going to put a little bit of this Rub and Buff on a paper towel, and then get it on the bristles of this brush. Then I'm just going to lightly flick off the edges of this. So you can see there, and then the same way. And so you can see I'm basically going like this and flicking up. So going right on the edge and then going up like that. And that's how I'm getting this feathered metallic edge right here. Okay, so now I've got all of this done, and I've just got to assemble it, and then we can check out the final results. And here are the final results. I am super happy with how it turned out, because in the beginning, this was a failed print. I was able to fix it, give it a little more texture than it already had, and now, just adding a bunch of simple techniques, it looks great. Nothing on this was super hard. It was all just processes stacking on top of each other to give this really cool result. And the cool thing about this is, You can actually use this technique in a bunch of different ways. Like if you have a rock base or a stony base, you can use this daubing technique and with the airbrush to be able to get the same looking results. And you could just change up the colors with grays instead of browns and oranges. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll go ahead and see you in this next video. Failed print. Stupid phone. All right.